The contribution of the research, looking from the theoretical perspective, the first contribution of the research is to explain the relationship between the ontic phenomenon and documentation. If you're looking around, surrounding all of you here is the deontic world. You have certain rights, you have certain duty, you have certain privileges, and you have certain contract, promise, ownership, and so on. But you don't see it directly. You see it through the document that you have. You see the privilege to ride or the permission to ride a car through the driving license. You see the ownership through the document of title. So currently there are some theory, especially in philosophy, to explain the relationship. But here I try to explain the dynamic relationship between the two realities. I try to see when this kind moves, the deontic phenomena move, what kind of thing in the deontic reality needs to be moved to match the two. And if they do not move together, then what happens? That means when you have a right and you don't have evidence of the right, what happens? Or when you have evidence of the right and you don't have the right, what happens? The inconsistency between the two realities that I want to explain. The second thing is to provide a new approach to the redesign of control, especially in interorganizational context. Compared with other approaches, the first approach is by Rosenbaum. He looked at the dependency between different activities in the procedure. And the second approach is to look at the value exchange. For instance, when I want to sell a product, this he called the product is a value exchange. I want to get back money. It's also a value exchange. So I exchange product to get money. How to secure that kind of exchange? However, both activity dependency and value exchange are reflected in the deontic reality. But there are some deontic relation does not reflect in activity dependency and the value exchange. For instance, when you negotiate on a contract, you need to promise to other to do something in exchange for another promise from the other to do some other thing. It's before performance of any activity or before performance of any value exchange. I can promise you to deliver the product by the 10th of June. However, I do not deliver the product at that time. I found another buyer that I can sell it better price to get a better profit, and I don't keep the promise to you. So you see, in this kind, there are no dependency in terms of activity because there are no performance involved. It's in the contracting state. This kind of relationship, though it's not captured and represented in the method by Rosenbaum or Kasteva. So that's what I try to complement. The second contribution is that both of Rosenbaum and Kasteva apply a set of principles from accounting theory. Accounting theory says you need to check this task, they do. Accounting says you need to separate this task into two different persons and to implement it. So the way they do is actually capture the principle from accounting theory and implement it either in interorganizational context or internal context. The thing I do here is a little bit different. I look at the pattern of the deontic relationship, and from the pattern of the relationship, for instance, I have a right to you and you have a duty to me. What kinds of documents we need to generate in order to ensure that you perform your duty, and I can claim you if you violate your right, and so on. The practical contribution. First, the methods will have to explain for user why a control is needed. This is crucial for redesign. When we go to redesign, the ultimate purpose is trying to simplify the procedure to improve efficiency. But what activity can be streamlined? What document can be streamlined? Can we combine the two documents together? And so on. To answer for that, we need to know whether the document, what is the function of the document in the procedure. Or in other words, why we need the document or why we need an activity in the procedure. The resulting requirement, that means the control requirement generated by the method, could be used either as criteria for evaluating control of a current procedure, or can be used as a guideline for designer to design a new procedure. You need to specify this requirement, this requirement, this requirement. And if you follow that, that's fine. If you follow that, the procedure is actually controlled. And the last contribution is that by formally specifying of the control principle, in accounting they have a set of principles. But the thing they do is manually. The auditor look at the principle, say you need to do this, and they go to the business process and they check manually. They have some checklist, for instance. But the thing here is I formally specify the principle so that we can enable computer activity to support the design. Now, if you look at the two deliverables, return to the debate about the but let's postpone the debate.
Look at the arrows of the bottom. I think they should be reversed.
I will return to that question later. The thing I just to remind here that we have two things I need to do. The first thing is about the deontic process, and the second thing is about the deontic control. And in the next sequence of the presentation, I will go through each of them, to the deontic process modeling and deontic control reasoning.
But I want you to hold on the background and emphasize the deliverables. What you're going to do. Remember, the purpose here is for developing a contract between you and the committee.
Okay.
And what you're going to give us. And we want to be very clear about what you're going to do.
Okay, the deliverable is here. The deliverable is two things. The first one is a formalism for modeling deontic process, and a set of deontic process model. The deontic process model here is also a way to validate the formalism, whether the formalism provides enough modeling contrast to model the domain. Here is international trade. The second deliverable is a set of principles for reasoning about control requirement. Each principle you can consider like a deontic process pattern. If the deontic process model match this pattern, what is the control requirement you need to implement? So there are two deliverables: a formalism for modeling deontic process, and a formal method for reasoning about control requirement.
May I add a small paraphrase? The deontic model, the challenge is that the deontic model is invisible. The rights, the obligations, the duties, all of this is invisible. We have to make it visible. That's the documentary side. And a fraud is when there's lack of synchronization between the documentary side and the invisible deontic. So when you're, correct me if I'm not saying it, when you're saying controls, what you mean is this, how to make the deontics visible and tractable and resistant to fraud.
Sure. I have a definition of control here. The thing we try to prevent is the inconsistency between the deontic reality and the documentary reality. Let's say.
So is there more to your deontic, to your control? So in some sense, this is structuring the evidence. When we say visibility, what you really want is the evidence.
Yes.
Is there more to your notion of controls other than evidence?
Sure, I have two kinds of control. I may jump a little bit here, and I show you there are two kinds of control. Okay, there are two kinds of control that will be generated by the method. The first one, what I call is the evidentiary control. The purpose of the evidentiary control is to ensure that you have the proper evidence for a deontic state. You have a right, you have evidence. You don't have a right, you don't have evidence. You perform the duty, you no longer have evidence of the duty, and so on. To maintain the consistency between the two words, the deontic reality and the documentary reality. The second type of control, what I call here the verification of control, actually also have to achieve that objective, to verify the documentary evidence against the presented fact. When you receive a driving license, for instance, I stop Professor Sudong sorry, I stopped him, police stopped him, and he showed me a driving license. And how to verify that he actually had the right, with the permission to work. So the first thing is the Department of Driving License to issue him a driving license. That is about the evidentiary control, to evidence the privilege that he can ride on the highway and so on. The second thing, when the police enforce the control, that means the verification control, to check whether he actually had the right, to match between the right and the evidence.